What's up everybody, Matt Maran here for another weekly update. There's lots of exciting news to go over here this week. A lot of it comes from the LA Auto Show, and I'm here at the LA Auto Show here this week. Automobility LA, they call it now. And so I'm in my hotel room here, so I apologize for the lack of perfect lighting and sound and all that. But anyway, getting into the news here this week, I first want to mention I'll be doing my usual weekly live stream here on Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So join if you can. It's always a good time hanging out and talking cars. But getting into all the news here this week, the biggest debut at the LA Auto Show here was the Lucid Gravity. And so it's, of course, their SUV that we've been waiting on for a good while now. And the main spec highlights here are that it'll do over 800 horsepower in its top trim, a sub 3.5 second 0 to 60 time, over 440 miles of range, and 6,000 pounds of towing, while also seating 7, having 112 cubic feet of cargo space in the back, another 8 cubic feet in the front, which also has a flip down panel so that you can sit in it without damaging the paint. And inside it gets a 34-inch curved OLED screen along with another screen beneath it. Both are touch enabled. It has an air suspension to provide more ground clearance off-road, and it has reversible steering for better maneuverability and handling. And getting back to that range figure, that 440 mile rating comes from just a 120 kilowatt hour battery, which is just an illustration of just how insanely efficient their motors are when other companies struggle to get much higher than 300 miles of range out of a similarly sized battery. So it's just really impressive. You know, it's not like it's a massive pack, relatively speaking, these days. And thanks to its relatively smaller battery size and Lucid's capability to do insane 300 kilowatt charge speeds thanks to its 900 volt platform, Lucid says it'll add 200 miles of range in just 15 minutes with the proper charger, which you know, it's going to be hard to find one that can put it out that fast. But if you can, I mean, you are set. That's awesome. And possibly one of the most impressive things here is they say it'll start under $80,000 when it begins in production in late 2024. So obviously that's the base version. The specs won't be as impressive, and I believe the third row is even an option, so you'll be talking about a 2-row version and stuff. But still, I mean, it should have the same great packaging, styling, all that you see here. And it'll be only a few grand more than a loaded Kia EV9, which, you know, those are like 75 grand, I think, fully loaded. Obviously, this is comparing a fully loaded model to a base model of something else, which isn't fair. But I mean, you know, you're only talking about potentially, you know, a less than $5,000 difference there. And so, you know, we will see how long it takes them to actually build those, you know, base versions. Sometimes they get pushed back to the back of the line and stuff. But potential, you know, for a really impressive, you know, feat here from Lucid, and could be a really promising SUV. I'm sure that in areas where you're seeing all the Model X's and all that kind of stuff, the Rivians and stuff, these things will be all over the place in short order here. You know, like I said, just sometime late next year. So anyway, as a quick aside here though, there also this week there was a clay model that was leaked of what appears to be a Lucid truck that was posted on the Lucid forum. And so it seems legit and seems to confirm that Lucid is at least strongly considering a truck, if not just completely working 100% to, you know, have that be their next vehicle. We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, it seems to make a lot of sense, especially now with Cybertruck having an interesting rollout, and you know, the fact that obviously there's some lower demand for the other trucks out there like the Lightning and stuff, but clearly electric trucks are a thing that will continue to be a thing going forward. And you know, if Lucid can do again their insane efficiency with those motors and do, you know, styling that at least according to this clay model will be, you know, a little more mainstream than the crazy out there stuff from Tesla, I think it could actually be a big hit. So we'll have to wait and see, but interesting to see that. Another aside before we get into the other LA debuts here, Cadillac has partially revealed the OPTIQ, showing just 2 photos of the outside. There was a leak back in the summer thanks to the Chinese regulatory website, but now we see the US version and it looks great. So far, all Cadillac is saying is that OPTIQ will act as the entry point for Cadillac's EV lineup in North America, slotting in below Lyriq as a luxury compact SUV. OPTIQ's spirited driving dynamics are designed to appeal to global luxury customers. Additional details, features, and pricing will be unveiled next year. So it'll be on the same Ultium platform as all the other GM stuff. So, you know, any of those combinations for powertrains are possible. So whether they go for like the base front-wheel drive version, if they're all-wheel drive for the Cadillac, or if they have a rear-wheel drive version like the Lyriq, you know, we'll have to wait and see about all that. But you know, I think it's going to be really promising. Supposedly the dimensions are slightly larger than even an XT5, at least as far as length goes. So, you know, this could be a really good size, and if it comes in under Lyriq, it could be, you know, really good, you know, extra seller for Cadillac, assuming that they can ever build any of these EVs in reasonable volumes from GM, which seems right now like it's nearly impossible to do. So we will see, but very promising nonetheless. Getting back to the LA stuff though here, Hyundai has revealed the US version of the Ioniq 5N, and you know, we already know mostly everything about it here, but they did confirm a release date for the US here of March of 2024, so just a few months away. I'm very excited that we don't have to wait very long for this. Unfortunately though, there's still no price for that. That is really the big unknown here. They did also reveal that it'll have a 3.25 second 0 to 60 time and 162 mile/hour top speed, thanks to its 641 horsepower when in the N-Grin boost mode and 601 horsepower normally. The battery is a bigger 84 kilowatt-hour pack compared to the regular Ioniq 5, but there's still no range rating either, so that's another thing that's up in the air. But I mean, this thing's got like, I think 295s in the back. It's all about performance, and it seems like they didn't really care a whole lot about range. I think it's got like double the cooling of a regular Ioniq 5 and stuff for extended lap sessions and everything. So I mean, don't expect any kind of respectable range out of this thing. At least it will charge fast, being the, you know, the Hyundai, but still. Also, another thing they said for the US here is we're going to get slightly less color options than the international versions here. So we're going to be getting it in performance blue matte, black, white, a matte gray, and then a Sultronic orange pearl. So I'm sad that you have to get a matte paint in order to get the performance blue, because I mean, it looks really good in matte, but you know, matte paint's often a pain, and you know, two cool colors are going to be only matte. It's unfortunate here, and the other, you know, so it's basically going to be black, white, and orange if you want something with glossy paint. So not in love with that, but anyway, regardless, it's still basically one of the most exciting vehicles for me to review in 2024. I'm very excited for the Ioniq 5, and it makes me giddy just thinking about it. It just seems like it's such a cool and exciting new thing, having, you know, shift points and having all these sounds and the insane performance and the tail happy antics and everything. It's just, it gets me giddy every time I see this thing, and it looks great in person, by the way, here in LA. So anyway, hopefully I'll get a chance to review that here early next year. Stay tuned and subscribe for that, of course. But anyway, very interesting to get those extra details. Hyundai has also shown off the US version of the 2024 Santa Fe in LA, and they showed off a new XRT trim that we hadn't seen before. And unlike the more extreme concept XRT that we saw earlier this year, this one just gets 30-inch all-terrain tires on 18-inch wheels to provide an extra 1.5 inches of ground clearance, while still towing 4,500 pounds with the towing package. It also adds dark chrome and black trim and the XRT badging, of course, and a few other unique touches there. But like the Ioniq, they say the Santa Fe will begin arriving in dealers in March, so I didn't realize Santa Fe was coming that fast either, but that is also great. And with this reveal, they also announced an interesting partnership with Amazon to allow you to look through your local dealer's inventory on the Amazon site, and you can actually complete checkout within Amazon like you're just buying anything else, and then they either you go pick up the vehicle or the dealer will deliver it to you. So that's an interesting idea, and assuming that they can actually get the financial, you know, paperwork part to be even remotely as easy as it is to buy anything else on Amazon, if they can get over that hurdle and it actually is truly super easy to, you know, go through the checkout process, then I think this could be very, very promising. Otherwise, it might just stay a promising idea, and we'll see, you know, if the execution is actually really that good. But sounds like an interesting concept. I'm surprised no one else has tried something like this sooner, or maybe they have and it hasn't gone anywhere. But anyway, very interested to see how that plays out for them as well. Also, Kia has revealed the 2024 Sorento here this week that gets a refresh, and as you can see, it's a pretty significant refresh. Totally new front end. It gets styling similar to the other new Kias we've seen recently, and the rest of the styling remains, you know, as far as the size in the back there, aside from a slight tweak to the taillight graphics. Inside, it also gets a brand new dashboard redesign that makes room for the bigger 12.3-inch touchscreen and 12.3-inch gauge cluster on the higher trims, and picks up the HVAC controls from the other new Kia products. And thankfully, that screen now gets wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto as standard, which is great. The Sorento also comes in an X Pro trim that gives you all-terrain tires on unique 17-inch wheels, along with the other X-Line improvements from before, like the center locking diff. They also can tow 500 pounds more now for some reason, going up to 4,000 pounds of towing. And powertrains are the same as before, though, meaning a 191 horsepower naturally aspirated 2.5-liter four-cylinder is the base engine, and then the 2.5-liter turbo motor is available as the upgrade grade motor still that does 281 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. That one still runs through the 8-speed dual clutch. You get a regular 8-speed automatic in the base one still. And the hybrid and plug-in hybrid versions, they kind of showed them off online there. They will be coming, but not until the 2025 model year, so those will be coming later in 2024 calendar year. And as for the non-hybrids, they'll be arriving at dealers here in the first quarter of 2024, so also coming very quickly. But there's no updated pricing for those yet either. Moving on from LA here though, there are a couple other oddball debuts here this week that were worth covering. So first, Volvo revealed their first minivan in China called the EM90, but as of right now, Volvo is only saying it's coming first to China, but wouldn't say where else they plan to sell it. I doubt it'll come here, but you know, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Although it's not confirmed, it appears to be based on the Zeekr 009, which is a Chinese brand that Volvo has a partnership with, just with unique Volvo styling here. And it runs a humble 268 horsepower motor that I believe powers the rear and is powered by a huge 116 kilowatt hour battery, which they claim will do 458 miles of range on the easier Chinese test cycle, but unfortunately only does an 8.3 second 0 to 62 mile per hour time, which you can imagine, a massive battery and only 268 horsepower. I'm surprised it's not slower, honestly. That should be fine though, since, you know, Volvo says it's supposed to be a living room on the move, and to achieve that, it's got an air suspension, noise canceling tech, and a 15.6-inch screen for rear seat passengers to watch from their very plush seats there, that also have tablets built into them. And there's also a 21 speaker Bowers & Wilkins stereo, and the folks up front also have a 15.4-inch touchscreen of their own, along with nicely sized digital gauge cluster there, which is nice to see considering Volvo didn't put a gauge cluster in the EX30, and I'm still salty about it. So I'm assuming that's just because of the Zeekr connection. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, it's available to pre-order now in China, and I believe there will probably be an all-wheel drive version as well, because the Zeekr has an all-wheel drive version too. But for now, just the rear-wheel drive version. And because of the Chinese roots, I'm guessing we won't get it here in the States, but maybe some of you international viewers might be able to get it elsewhere in the world. We'll have to wait and see, but interesting to see that. And the struggling EV company Karma, that's existed with just the Revero here for many years, it was formerly known as the Fisker Karma, you know, it goes back like 10 years now. They revealed a new sports car here called the Caveya, I believe is how you say it. And so interestingly, the company somehow managed to hire the former Acura designer that designed the most recent NSX, which is part of why I think this car looks great. The company also got a new president this year, so maybe they'll actually be able to get something going here with this company and, you know, bring some stuff to fruition and get some momentum. I don't know. But as for the car, it's got a carbon fiber body, butterfly doors, and an all-electric powertrain. First to arrive will be a rear-wheel drive version in the fourth quarter of 2025, supposedly. That has a single rear motor that has 536 horsepower. And then a year after that, they're planning to debut an all-wheel drive version with 1,180 horsepower and a 1,270 pound-feet of torque rating there, along with a sub 3 second 0 to 60 time and a 180 mile per hour top speed. That one will get a 120 kilowatt hour battery and range of over 250 miles, which sounds very low for something this aerodynamic and light that's you know, got this battery pack again as big as the Lucids. It's only 250 miles. That seems kind of underwhelming. Anyway, that means that even with all the lightweight components, this one is still going to weigh 5,300 pounds though, thanks to that big battery pack. But that's all the info we have on it so far. But less far off, they're saying, is a refresh for the Revero that's coming in the third quarter of 2024. And it'll continue to be a plug-in hybrid. And there's also going to be a new all-electric car based on the Revero called the Caveya. I don't know how to say that. But anyway, that one has only been teased so far. But supposedly that's going to be coming around the end of 2024. So we'll see about those and if they can actually build them in decent numbers and all that. You know, Fisker's got his own issues now with the Ocean and all that. They're trying to, you know, ramp up production. I don't know. I think they've only built I don't know, a couple hundred of those or something. But this company isn't even connected to him anymore. It's since been sold off to some other investors. We'll see if they can get anything off the ground. Anyway, so yes, I think for that new sedan thing, it's going to be claiming 590 horsepower, 693 pound-feet of torque for that one. All sounds nice if it's actually ever going to come to hit the streets. But anyway, same 120 kilowatt hour battery, 250 mile range for that one too, which also seems very low. But anyway, we'll see if they can actually deliver. Just figured I'd briefly mention it because it is a cool looking car, again, thanks to the great designer of it. And anyway, moving on here, Porsche has revealed that all future turbo trims will get a new silver version of the Porsche crest here, along with a color that they're calling Turbonite for the badges, trim, and other various pieces inside and outside of these turbos. And so the first vehicle to feature this will be the 2024 Panamera Turbo, which they'll be debuting soon here, and then I guess we will see it spread out to the rest of the lineup here relatively soon. But that's interesting. I kind of wonder how people paying top dollar feel about that. I mean, I guess it's exclusivity, but I feel like people have a very deep connection to the Porsche badge, and then going for a black and white version basically, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see, but very interesting to see that. Renault has debuted the Twingo prototype this week, and while it's labeled a prototype, they are planning to put this into production by 2026, they say. It takes design inspiration from the Twingo from the 90s, and its price also seems pretty retro these days, with Renault saying it'll start under 20,000 euros, which is about $21,700. That'd be impressive for any vehicle these days, but the extra surprising fact is the fact that this is an EV. So there's no specs yet, other than what they claim here is it'll be able to do a 6.2 miles per kilowatt hour efficiency rating, which is really impressive, far surpassing the 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour that the Ioniq 6 can do. So this would be really impressive, even though the shape isn't, wildly aerodynamic. I think it could, be pretty impressive if they actually hit that. It'll almost surely be pretty slow and probably won't have a lot of range either, which is why, among other reasons, we'll probably never get this cool little hatchback here in the States. But I mean, Renault is, part of the whole thing with Stellantis, so maybe Dodge can take this platform and maybe make a retro neon that's actually cheap and, an affordable little thing, and also do the 90s retro thing like the Twingo's doing here. Do a retro 90s neon. I'd be excited about that, if they actually kept it cheap. I mean, that'd be awesome. So we'll have to wait and see. Just be having my wish list here of dreams. But anyway, cool to see the Twingo nonetheless. And for a pleasant surprise, speaking about affordable vehicles here, Volkswagen revealed at the Reuters Events Automotive USA conference this week that they're planning to bring a sub $35,000 EV to the US sometime in the next 3 to 4 years, and that they're planning to build it in either the US or Mexico, and that they're even looking at localizing battery assembly in order to get the full EV tax credit for this thing. So there's no other info beyond that, but hopefully, I'm really hoping it's that cool ID2 that we saw. I'm sure since it's the US, they'll try and do either some type of truck or some type of little SUV or something instead, but I really just love that little ID2. I think it looks so cool, and if they can bring that in here, well under 35 grand, could be a good competitor for the Bolt and stuff like that. And so we'll just have to wait and see. But when asked about Volkswagen's general EV plans, beyond that little vehicle, he said that we are not scaling back their plans for EVs in the US market, despite the lack of, current demand for EVs, which is interesting that they seem unfazed by the slowing sales, and they are still on track to do everything they're going to do. They're not changing their plans. And that's all, very interesting to hear. We'll see. Other companies are kind of backing off and getting nervous, but Volkswagen seems convinced this is the way to go, and they're going to keep at it. So interesting to see that. Another company that's still expecting EVs to be in strong demand again someday is Exxon, surprisingly, who announced this week that they just acquired the rights to 120,000 acres in southern Arkansas, where they can begin producing lithium by 2027 from underground saltwater deposits there. They have a process, they pull it out of saltwater, which is kind of cool. And they're hoping this will make them the leading supplier for electric vehicles by 2030, which is, pretty quick timeline. It's a pretty big move here. They added also that lithium is essential to the energy transition, and ExxonMobil has a leading role to play in paving the way for electrification. So we'll see if they end up, being able to actually do that, and see what demand is like between, 2027 and 2030 here as far as EVs goes. But very promising, and I think it's very smart of these oil companies to, try and set themselves up in some way for this electrification transition, whether it's chargers or battery components or what. And so, yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. And for the last news story here this week, we got some spy pics of what I believe is the next generation BMW X7 that were sent to me by Joe A in Atlanta. So huge thanks, Joe, for sending me those pictures. So trying to dissect it a little bit, to me, those are definitely BMW wheels. So that's why the length is suggesting X7 to me, unless the new X5 is going to get a big stretch or something. But I'm pretty sure this is X7. There's also no exhaust tips on this one, but it doesn't have the electric vehicle warning stickers that you often have on camoed vehicles like this. So I'm guessing either this one's gas powered, or maybe they don't need those stickers here in the States. I'm not sure, but anyone else, if you can glean anything more from those pictures, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your theories on what that could potentially be. And huge thanks once again, Joe, for sending those in. That's always very fun to see, spy pics some of you see out and about there. But lastly, I want to thank all of you that are members of the Maran Motoring Club. So we did have a few new members that were able to join this week, thanks to membership gifts from the Truck and Car Guy and Kyle during last Sunday's live stream. So I first want to give a huge thank you to both of you for your very generous membership gifts here. I know all the members that continue to be able to rejoin and join for the first time really appreciate that, and I certainly appreciate the support as well, and not only the channel but the membership program here and all that. It really means a lot. I also want to give a big welcome here to all those new members though. So I want to give a big welcome to Doug Joseph, B. Mitchell C, Lorenzo L, and Alberta Wolf. Hope you're all enjoying the membership perks so far, and I look forward to hopefully chatting with all of you who can make the live stream here on Sunday night, where all those members do always get priority answering. So definitely join if you can, especially those new members. For anyone else who'd like to join and become a member, there's always join buttons here on the video page, on the channel page, and a link in the description as well. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe to keep these videos coming. Let me know your thoughts on all this stuff in the comments below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.